Welcome to episode 1457 of Hard Factor. It is Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. Thank you for cheating on the news with us. 80-ish% accuracy guaranteed on this podcast. Everything you need to know in 40-ish minutes or less. But if you need more, go to patreon.com/hardfactor for up to 3 weekly bonus podcasts. Very funny. Today, Wes has charged lemonades and monkey chants in Mississippi to tell us about.
Yep. It's pretty bad. It's one of the most racist things you're going to see, hopefully all year. Probably not, but yeah.
Oh, election season is just ramping up.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. I've got faith America's got more in the tank.
Yeah, me too, actually. You're right. This is probably going to be tame. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will see it, a very viral moment. Pat's got Big Jill out of Myrtle Beach to fill us in on.
That's all you need to know.
I know nothing about Big Jill, so
it's going to be the best segment. I can't wait to get a full breakdown of Big Jill.
Oh, you're going to like it.
Yeah, for the Gen Z listeners, you know what we're talking about probably. For everybody else, you have no fucking idea who Big Jill is, but you should get excited. You should get excited about Big Jill. I've got an interesting new spin coming out of a recent study on the Bible at the end of the show, and more Boeing, unfortunately, because you know that's always bad news. It's bad news again with Boeing.
Jesus was gay.
Ooh,
if that's what suits someone's prerogative this week, that's what they found in the Bible.
Something that could upset people just as much as that, Wes. We will get.
That would really chap people's head.
I know it's been written for like a couple thousand years or whatever, but I've been looking at that thing, the Bible, and I found something totally new.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's right here. If you just read it this
happens to suit my exact personal needs.
That's true, but Pat, the people that did this study are your friends, so you probably
hey, we all have needs. We can all benefit from contouring the Bible to serve us, and I haven't been served by it, so I'm excited.
Okay, well, it's some business associates of yours, former, are the ones who performed this study. Hopefully, we will learn more about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar situation and whatever happened with Macklemore when Hip Hop Mark returns. But
mustard on that beat. I can give you an update if you want.
Hip Hop Mark gets here tomorrow, but please give us. I mean, because it's hot in the streets, Pat. What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. So Kendrick dropped a new track, and Drake dropped a new track. If you go to Spotify's Rap Caviar, which is probably the #1 playlist in the world, definitely the #1 playlist for anything related to hip hop. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first 5 songs are all Drake Kendrick tracks going back and forth. This morning, I gotta tell you, jumped the shark for me. Kendrick dropped "Not Like Us," I think on the 4th of May, and not as good as "Euphoria," the previous diss
Is that
track.
alluding to Drake's light skin?
Well, see, yes. I mean, there's a lot of conversations about Drake being a cultural appropriator, right?
He opens bags of chips with scissors. I've seen that one.
And he's not black. Right. He's half black, but he uses black culture to make himself seem hard. And Drake saying, "Well, you're the Black Messiah, Kendrick, but you wifed up a half black queen." And then Drake's essentially saying, oh man, the one track I hadn't heard where Kendrick just raps to his son Adonis. It says, "Listen to this in 18 years, and you'll understand." It's pretty brutal. Kendrick dropped or alluded to another secret child. So Drake had his son Adonis, then Pusha T exposed that on a track when they were beefing, and then Drake was like, "Yes, I do have a son. His name is Adonis." Kendrick came out and said, "Well, there's actually this other child." And then people came out and said, "That's not true at all." But in the new track, Drake or Kendrick refers to, essentially Drake is being painted as a pedophile, and
I
a
saw
creeper,
the 17-year-old thing,
and just a real creeper.
The video that resurfaced where he's molesting the 17-year-old on stage.
Yeah, and then like the video of Millie Bobby Brown at 14 years old talking about how like Drake started texting her and is helping her with advice about boys.
That's like what Diddy was doing with Bieber, basically.
We don't know. I mean, like Drake's pretty overt.
I went a little further, right? Based on the
about just getting his D sucked. But
based on everything we're finding out,
there's a guy in Drake's crew, Baca, who was sex trap. You know, he's pimping a woman. He's essentially making a woman's 22-year-old. Okay, a major, not a minor. Bang people, and then he was taking all the money. She was like a slave. Anyway, he went away. And he's in Drake's crew. So like most of the beef right now is Drake, you're a creeper, okay? And then Drake dropped this other track where he's taking the van from Good Kid, Mad City, which is like Kendrick's breakthrough
so he
album.
got called a creeper, and then his response was to go into a van.
Well, so on Good Kid, Mad City, which is Kendrick's technically third album, but it was his breakthrough album. There's a van on the front cover, kind of like in the same way that there's a van on that Black Keys iconic album cover. So in the Drake song "Family Matters," that's the one where he takes it's a video, and he's got the van on like a crusher, like on a wrecker, and then he crushes it as like a visual metaphor. But look,
I'm
here's all you
such
need.
not a creep that I crush vans, because
Here's what you need to know.
Mostly for creeps.
Kendrick has come out as by far the more talented artist and better rapper, which I think we knew. Drake's clapbacks have been weaker and weaker, as have Kendrick's, but it's getting to the point where it's like a joke. But the internet has turned on Drake. Kendrick won. Kendrick is the winner here, and Drake is going to, because he's got bodies in the form of his creepery. And that's really what's bubbling to the top. So Drake really messed up, in my opinion, because he was numero uno. And now with all this beefs going on, people are really starting to look closer at the creepiness of the Drake.
This is the gayest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Well,
I mean,
rap battle beefs,
hip hop drama. You're not
rap
into
beefs
it?
are just so ridiculous.
I
I guess Tupac and Biggie wasn't, because they were cool. But these guys sound like some real fucking babies.
Well, those diss tracks were really good. Are any of them as good as Hit 'Em
They
Up?
actually killed each other. There was actually death involved. This is not
there
going to end
any
in
track
any
as
kind
good
of-
as Hit 'Em Up? 'Cause
yeah,
Hit 'Em Up
dude,
is
the Kendrick stuff is phenomenal. Euphoria is the best that Kendrick did. It's amazing.
I guess Nas and Jay-Z was pretty good too.
But dude, like, I mean, I've spent every morning in the last 2 weeks listening to rap music. Like, I don't spend my mornings doing that most mornings. It's working.
Also, producer Eric points out Drake's security guard was shot in a drive-by outside of his home in Toronto.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't see that was last night. Chubbs is his name. Kendrick drops a line. Chubbs gets your hand-me-downs. Isn't that right, Drake? Essentially saying, like, after Drake creeps out on them, then the security guard gets to bang. And yeah, there was a shooting at Drake's house last night in Toronto.
I mean,
The store in London was also vandalized.
No, Drake messed up. I mean, you don't want to choose a generational level talent to beef with who also doesn't have like bodies in his closet because he's a creeper, you know.
and he's probably a little more actually gangster than Drake.
See, Kendrick says something in one of the lines where he's like, "Have you ever like walked up on someone?" Effectively saying like,
Mugged someone, robbed someone.
Walked at them while firing. Kendrick implies that he either killed someone or shot someone in a violent altercation, and Drake saying that's all fantasy. And yeah,
Well, isn't a lot of rapping fantasy? I mean, a lot of it is like
Exaggeration, that's for
it's
sure.
like,
well, what Kendrick is saying is above it. He's like, bro, do you think I'm paying someone for opposition research? I have to take my daughter to school. Like that's what like Kendrick is kind of being like, you're an idiot. But yes, I am from Compton, and yes, I do have a past where Drake, he surrounds himself with actually bad people, and then he also brags about having like deep connections to the mafia. But everyone's like, okay, Wheelchair Jimmy, you know, if you're a Degrassi,
right, because he came from like the entertainment world. Hey, Wes, you want to know something that'll upset you more than that?
What's that?
The Met Gala. Anybody watch that or understand it?
I've been hearing about it, but
I know about it. I know that.
I know the
important event in
theme
fashion.
was like garden something.
It's a fashion thing, I guess.
It's the hottest ticket in town.
I don't get it. Zendaya. Lots of people talking about her eyes. So
I heard Emily Ratajkowski had quite the outfit on, and she ignored the theme. I was listening to Howard Stern.
Bad Bunny was there. He wore like
Bad Bunny.
a bonnet.
He wore a bad. He was like Bad Baby with a bonnet.
Yeah.
Rappers certainly do snitch on each other a lot for claiming they're not snitches, don't they? They really.
Well,
they
how do
really,
you mean by that? There's lots of that conversation in this rap beef. Wes, you might really like this. Like they talk about.
Listen, I like all drama. I'm sure I'd like it if I paid more attention to it, but
right. Like they're talking about YNW Melly and like the YSL trial that took place.
I just like to imagine Drake sitting in like a room just thinking of beef lines, you know.
Well, if you're Kendrick, that's not what's happening. Because
hey, what are you doing, Drake? I'm working on my beef.
Well, according to Kendrick, he's not working on his beef. He has 20 guys working on the beef, and that's why Kendrick's saying this is 1 versus 20.
Okay,
because he writes his shit.
I'm sure everyone has a team that's feeding them information.
Yeah, I mean, it can all be looked on ASCAP or BMI, guys, and maybe we'll do that on the next episode.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Yes,
it's really. I mean, it's a real thing.
Can you tell me how this all started? I just want to know.
Yeah, I did already on the show, but I will again.
Okay,
I will again. Well, okay. So there was a Big Sean track called "Control" way back in the day, and Kendrick kind of gave this like really, really great verse, one of the greatest verses in hip hop history, essentially saying like the greats are Kendrick, Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, Tupac, right? But then he's like, but my class is Wale, Big Crit, Pusha T, Jay Electronica, Drake. But I'm coming for y'all, is what he says. But it was like it was a cool, fun thing. He's like, I got love for y'all, but I'm coming for all. It was great. And Drake was like, that kind of hurt my feelings. And you got to keep in mind, Drake took Kendrick Lamar on his first tour ever, right? And like they have a #1 hit together. But it was the song "First Person Shooter" with J. Cole and Drake, where they're talking about the big three. And then Kendrick Lamar was like, man, fuck the big three. Because they say K. Dot is one of the best rappers alive, along with Drake, along with J. Cole, but Kendrick wasn't on that track. And then Kendrick was like, man, fuck the big three. It's only big me. And then and then it kind of just started this whole beef situation.
Yeah, once you say fuck someone, then it's over.
It goes deeper than that, though. Because people just don't like Drake in the culture.
Because he's half white.
And he fucks everyone's girl.
Oh, well, yeah.
It sounds like Drake is just kind of like, people like Kendrick Lamar a lot more than Drake.
Oh, because
he's also a better rapper. So it's just like
Drake, he won a fucking Pulitzer for his rap.
Drake's losing this match in straight sets. Like,
one last thing I got to say. The Drake cover art for Push-Ups, which is like 3 tracks ago, is the best cover art of all time because Kendrick Lamar's a little guy. He's just a tiny little guy. He's like a 5'4", 5'5" guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so the cover art for Push-Ups is like on a shoebox. Like a shoebox, you have like the shoe size. It's kind of standard. It's the US, UK. It's a size 7. Put out a size. That's Kendrick Lamar's shoe size. I thought that was like
a small dude.
Pretty sick cut down.
That's rough.
That was a pretty sick cut down.
It's like small hands.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick's always going to have the Napoleon syndrome, but it sounds like he still wins this battle in straight sets. Just like
and one more thing that's fantastic.
That's a lot of bigger generals.
Is Drake says to Kendrick, man, what's up? He's essentially saying Top Dog Entertainment, which was Kendrick's label and management. Like they have you in a slave contract and you're a bitch and my deal is better than yours. What are your splits like? Which, like, as a music industry insider, I was like, well, that's not true because Drake came out with a mixtape called The Comeback Season in like 2008 or 7. And then he signed to, guess what? Lil Wayne's label, right? Okay, but Lil Wayne's label is a sub label of Birdman's label, right? Which is a sub label of Universal Music Group, right? So Drake couldn't have had that good a deal. That's just a little inside baseball. So when Drake dropped that line, I was like, Kendrick, what are you going to do? And Kendrick came back and he was like, my splits, you signed to the guy that signed to the guy that signed to the guy that signed to the guy. And I was like, yeah, that's accurate. I'd like to see that deal.
Too many cuts.
A lot of cuts.
That check's getting stepped on.
Getting stepped on, as they'd say in hip hop.
Yeah.
Musical fentanyl.
Yeah. Checks getting stepped on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Moving on. To the whitest thing ever, Panera. Sad news for lovers of Panera's death drink, the charged lemonade. Never got a chance to try it. Did any of you try it?
Wanted to, didn't get a chance.
Well,
fuck would I have been at a Panera Bread?
I don't know. You never know. They got
to sample the charged lemonade.
They got good Wi-Fi there.
They do actually.
You're running out of time, though, Pat. If you want to get it, you better get it now, because in as little as 2 weeks, they're going to start phasing out the charged lemonade. This, of course, could be because they're getting sued to high heaven by the families of this girl. Remember her, Sarah Katz, who
2 minors died, right? And then
well, no, not 2 minors. I mean, minor. This guy was a minor in the brain, I think.
Oh yeah, but then there was another kid, right?
That was not a nice thing to say about that man. who has
there was the older guy, the younger girl. I think there was one more young kid.
There's a third person, a 28-year-old, who said that she has permanent brain damage because of the lemonade. But these two definitely died. They're like the headliners, the poster people of why not to drink charged lemonade. Mr. Brown, as they refer to him, and Sarah Katz. So the spokesperson said that we listened to more than 30,000 guests about what they wanted from Panera. We are focusing on an array of beverages we know our guests desire, ranging from exciting or trend flavors, low sugar, low caffeine options. Basically, we're sick of getting sued. We know this thing probably has way too much caffeine, and people are morons and are going to drink themselves to death on it by accident, maybe. And so we're going to do away with it, So,
yeah, I think it's got. I read that like the average adult safely can consume like 400 milligrams of caffeine a day, and this thing has like
390. It's got a 30-ounce charged lemonade has 390 milligrams, which is almost the entire daily recommended limit from the FDA.
Okay, so the issue here then is that charged lemonade and the advertising doesn't make it clear enough that this is a caffeine-infused lemonade, and there's certain people who should just be not having caffeine or they're going to die.
Well, this guy drank like 5 of them, I think.
Stop putting
he was the one that drank a ton of them.
Yeah.
I think the girl had a condition.
The girl had a heart condition.
That's what I'm saying. Heart conditions. That's who's going to die. And then that poor guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy was, it's very sad.
Very sad.
I mean, well, it makes sense why they're not.
Who died first? That guy, the guy or the girl?
No, Sarah. The girl. Sarah Katz died, and then he died. She died in September. I think he died in December of 20.
I thought it'd be opposite.
Hip Hop Mark, he was calling for this band long ago. So
yeah, so it's gonna happen. They're gonna start phasing it out as early as next in 2 weeks. So if you want to get your charged lemonade experience, you better go now. All right, moving on to something very racist. Warning, very racist. We've all seen the chaos and the division that the war between Israel and Hamas has created, not only in the obvious war zone, but also here in America, college campuses, massive protests, what have you. But leave it to a Southern frat boy to remind everyone that America has its own deep-rooted racial and social issue we need to deal with. Good old American racism. And this guy, Ole Miss finance major and aspiring model douche, 21-year-old James Staples, a.k.a. JP, reminded us all that racism is alive and well in America, especially in the South. So what did he do? Well, at Ole Miss, you guys have seen the trend where frat boys are now confronting the pro-Palestine
of course,
protesters. It's like making sure the flag don't hit the ground and all this kind of shit.
I sent this link over the weekend. I think it was either this guy, probably this guy who did the interview with Fox News, or one of his frat brothers. Okay, so it was his frat brother, and they were talking about a Palestinian protest, and someone was taking down the flag, and the guy literally, this is like the monologue of the frat
I think that was UCLA.
No, it was down south. The one where the GoFundMe took place. He was like, we saw him messing with the flag, and I said, you can't do that.
Yeah,
and I listened to that one. I yelled at my phone and I said, but you can do that. You can.
Listen, you fuck with the flag in front of a Southern patriot, you're gonna get the business.
Yeah.
It's very, it's a big deal. So what this guy did, and along with a bunch of other people, there was a pro-Palestine protest. There was about 30 pro-Palestine protesters and about 200 anti-pro-Palestine protesters.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Like at LSU, the frat boys all came out. Luckily, they're not nearly as bigoted as Ole Miss, and we've known that for a long time. But they came out and they were screaming at the protesters that they have 0 SEC championships, and there was like hundreds of frat boys and like 50 protesters.
Yeah. They're not
And-
pro-Israel. I mean, they'll drop some really insensitive, anti-Semitic language right after. It's that they're pro-America and they're confused.
Exactly.
Well, they're pro SEC championships, and Hamas has none. So that was the point of the Greek community at LSU when the demonstrations broke out. I understand. I haven't seen the video yet, Wes, but I understand Ole Miss took a little bit of a different route.
Ole Miss took a little different. So what you're going to see is again, there was a protest, and a rather large African American woman became the focal point of the pro-Palestine protesters and confronted the frat boys. And here's what old JP decided to do. He decided to ruin his life for a little while. There they are yelling at her.
Is he in the red, white, and blue? Oh,
There
that's
he
him. Oh no, there he is.
There it is. Oh,
Whoa, dude.
yeah.
He's doing the full-on monkey dance
Yeah.
to the only black girl of the whole thing.
Yeah. So he basically went like
man.
ooh, ooh, and made like a monkey thing face towards her. So
Are they all dressed up in like 4th of July gear because they are so deeply aligned with the U.S.'s policies on Israel? And they,
well, Israel's our greatest ally, right? So,
but do they know that? Do they know?
no, I think they just hate liberals.
Okay. Yeah, that would be my guess. Is that they?
I
Okay.
think they hate protesters.
Yes.
Especially Wes non-white protesters. at
Yeah,
Ole Miss,
especially not
right?
white protesters.
That's the real line in the sand at Ole Miss.
So,
Like,
in case you missed it, here it is again. Wow. I mean, what a fucking idiot.
she didn't even see it.
No, she didn't see
The
it.
cop is standing between her and the guy.
What?
He's just doing it.
What did he do? I
to the
can't really see
camera.
what he did.
Oh,
He
you didn't
did-
see it? Look at
He
this.
did just like a racist motion.
He did a monkey. He did an ape.
Oh, you didn't see it, Pat?
Oh,
Oh,
look, very
okay.
right of
Corner
your
of the
very
screen.
right of your screen.
Corner of the screen. There he goes.
No, no, here he is, right here.
He'll come flying in. There he is, Pat. You see him?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's doing.
And they were also calling her Lizzo, calling her a fat ass before she got closer, and that's when once he got closer and he could really do his motions, he did it. So
By the way, if you're a fat black lady, being called Lizzo is a glow up.
Oh,
Right?
she
That's-
didn't
well,
care.
it was before the last year.
I mean,
Lizzo really.
it's
took a slide.
intended to be a racist slight because they don't know any other black people that are fat women. That they
Yeah,
can
but she
name.
really took a slide the last year. It was better. It was
Right,
better.
right. But before that other stuff. I mean, she's
Before
a
she
talent,
abused her staff.
Right.
Yeah, it was better.
but she is a talent.
her name is Jalen Smith, by the way.
The woman
And
who.
the woman who was there. So the internet got to work. They
Harassed.
wanted to find out who this fucker was. They did. They doxed him. He was.
See, this is why we hate on cancel culture because we can't even get out there in public
Yeah.
and make racist gestures.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the other frat boys
because
know
then
this.
someone
They
find you and cancel you.
Somebody had to be like drinking his Michelob Ultra and being like, "Oh man, JP really took it too far."
You're fucking us, JP. So yeah, they ratted him out. Phi Delta Theta was his frat. They expelled him, but now people want him expelled. Like the NAACP want him gone.
He's gonna be expelled right into a car dealership job down there, and he's gonna do just fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, somebody's hiring him.
Oh,
But
he's got the
in
handshake.
in
he's got-
Mississippi.
he's got the handshake already. That's all he needs down there. Yeah. So anyway, he's from Texas though. He was a football player from Plano, and he was studying real estate and finance. 21 years old. So I don't know if they're going to kick
Why'd
him
you
out.
choose Ole Miss, JP? Well,
Yeah,
I wanted to come to an even more racist.
You think they're going to kick him out? He should be kicked out for that.
Will, you nailed it. People don't understand that Texas, all the South is racist, but Texas is like not in the same way that like the deep South is, right? So like when someone's in Texas, in
I've
parts.
seen some extreme racism in Texas.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
When you go
City
backwards in time, when you're already in Texas and you choose to go backwards in time to like Ole Miss, I'm always curious about that.
Yeah,
It's a dry county, dude. Oxford is confusing. I don't even know. Like, it's only houses. They don't even have apartments. It's a very strange college. And then
wasn't
you get
Texas the last place to free the slaves?
I mean,
Yes, they both have racial problems.
Yeah.
But Ole Miss is a special type.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a special place. Yeah. I mean, this is after the boat.
Look at him down there.
That was South Carolina. My bad.
So that's a special type too, William.
But he got some Ole Miss kids in Bo Rat too, didn't he? He got both of them. I think so.
Yeah. So anyway, hey, listen, we love white frat boys to listen to the show, but not racist pieces of shit like JP.
Our white frat boys know who they are, and they're a different breed.
Exactly.
They were the ones there being like, "Oh man, JP took it too far."
No, they're like the other people were like condemning him. They're like, "Hey, this does not speak for Ole Miss, at least not the people that I personally hang out with." Blah blah blah. So, but I think they're going to kick him out. I think that it's gotten so big they're going to have to kick him out of the school.
Just like all the other like frat boys who get caught doing racist shit at Ole Miss. Like
they're the minority.
First time.
Yes.
Yeah. Our frat boys are the majority, the real ones.
That's right.
Yeah, and like JP is going to need therapy. Okay, you might want to go and do that discreetly.
Yeah. You think he's good looking enough to be a model? I mean, he wants to be a model.
Absolutely not, buddy. If you go to a southern school like Will and I did, those boys are a dime a dozen.
Yeah, he's a 7 at a southern school.
Yeah, he's good enough looking to work at a Hollister.
Look at that nose. That ain't a model's nose, pal.
Pat, you nailed it. That is Hollister employee through and through. Now, not to say that Hollister employees don't go on to become big stars, like our buddy James A. Bear.
James Landry A. Bear. But he worked there. In the same way that he like thinks he's a model, is kind of like trying to be. Right. He's like projecting all the tropes of what an attractive person is. He's also going to get with a girl that 20 years in retrospect, you look back on knowing that girl. And back then you're like, she's like a model hot. And then you actually see the world and you realize that she's just got blonde hair.
Yeah. She's a hot
it's
southern
just the
chick.
blonde hair.
Yeah. Right. And she was in shape. Chris Slate's live comment, bro did Kylie Jenner lip therapy. He sure did. He definitely looks like he got him puffed up.
Yeah, his mom, who paid for that photo that you're showing in there, is not happy, and he's gonna need therapy, and he's gonna not want to show his face in public for a while, and you can do that with BetterHelp. And this show is sponsored by BetterHelp, guys. I've been carrying a real heavy weight as of late. My dad's dead. Okay, I had a new kid this year. I got fat because Chicago is just a terrible place to be. Live comment, Pat. People give you shit for not being on the show every day. There's that. But after hearing Kate's Mother's Day stories, you deserve a round of applause. I would say the opposite, Matty Ice, because I'm hard on myself. Another reason I need therapy. Okay. And you know what I did today? Pretty simple. Noon. Logged on. Did 45 minutes of therapy. It was awesome. I got like an old, wise therapist this time around named Steven. He's wise and he's old.
Love that.
And he just listened to me. And it felt good. And then he like suggested a couple things, but mostly he listened to me because we're getting to know each other. But then all day after I talked to Steven, I said, oh, man. Those are some interesting points I brought up to Steven. Maybe I'll be more mindful of them and get healthier. Now, to get to Steven,
therapy
through BetterHelp, no BS. 12 minutes.
Yep.
12 minutes sign up.
Very
Less maybe. Easy. And then it was like, finding you a therapist. Do you want Steven? I said, yeah, I want Steven. And they gave him to me. I put like some things like, what do I need to work on? My relationship, grief, right? Being a father. And it was like, bam. And it's so affordable. It's insanely affordable. Like I used to think cost of therapy was a barrier of entry, and it is in person. But BetterHelp, it's totally reasonable. And you can get 10% off if you guys want. If you go to betterhelp.com/hardfactor, you got to go to that URL, betterhelp.com/hardfactor. You get 10% off your first month. Yeah, which is 4 sessions. If you doing it like I'm doing it, pretty simple. Get that 10% off. It's totally reasonable, totally easy. Betterhelp.com/hardfactor. Okay, Big Jill in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah. I mean, Will texted me a couple hours ago. He goes, Pat, you gotta Google Big Jill from Myrtle Beach. And I was like, I like it already. Yeah. Hell yeah. Big Jill, the trashiest beast on the East Coast. A great nickname. Coming together. What is it?
Yep.
Yeah, what is it?
It's hard to find out too, Pat, because it
is. You're on to that. Because really what it is, okay? It's a great nickname, Big Jill. Okay, here's the situation. Yeah. Anytime someone's big and a woman, you want to check out what's going on. Like, what do they do? Jill Kennedy. That's Big Jill. Okay, great nickname. Myrtle Beach. Put those things together. It's like there's a story here. And then you start digging in. And then you find out There's not a story here, really. But what the bigger story? Okay, I'm not going to explain it to you. Okay, who's going to explain it to you?
Like this video.
Who's going to explain it to you? Is AWN TV? Okay,
Yes.
which is a YouTube channel, and I've noticed this trend. Maybe it's like 6-8 months ago. I noticed this, but there's this thing that happens where like dudes in Arabic speaking countries are trying to make it. And I respect that big time.
Hustle.
So they like,
Yeah.
they like, I'm going to make it. So their method of making it is they're going to put out videos on the YouTube. Okay. Get those monetized going. Right. But like, they're not actually going to do any journalism or can, really read or speak English very well or have any understanding of this very complicated story like Big Jill and Myrtle Beach. So what they do is they like look for things that are trending. Okay. And then they like have AI write them a script and then they post these videos. And this is the most definitive reporting on the internet, period, to date on Big Jill from Myrtle Beach.
Fiction memes are spreading across the web as many want to know who this woman is and what she did at the custom pick-up truck show she attended. A video of a woman named Big Jen is going viral on TikTok, sparking widespread interest in her. The video, which shows Big Jen allegedly being beat on the party, has become the subject of several memes and jokes across social media platforms. Big Jen is the nickname of Jill Kennedy. Since 2022, she is being picked up truck fanatic, attending multiple Skoda truck and lifted truck car shows in the American South.
The American South.
Did you get all that?
Half of it.
This happened to us, a story that we did and we broke. Then one of these guys picked up on it. That's the first time I heard about it, but it's becoming more popular and more common. Who is this guy? It's Arab World News, and it's not a real journalist. Even his YouTube bio about AWN is a journalist who worked in several departments. So I will focus my attention on news stories that are of interest to audience around world in sports, exciting stories on social media and other fields.
So what is a Big Jen?
Okay, so Big Jen, did you
He
guys
has
get
become
it?
a viral meme. And then
What'd you
TikTok.
learn? Big Jill's like a kind of a trashy big chick who lives in North Carolina, goes to truck shows, and she got peed on at the truck show. That's the entirety of it.
That's pretty much what I get.
That's it.
Yeah, she got peed on at the truck show, Wes. That's it. That's it.
So there's your Big Jill moment.
So now, Pat, but the thing that happened was, so Big Jill, this is her account on TikTok. It's only, like a 5,000 followers. She claims that, she had more, she got banned at 10K, probably because of the pee video, where she's getting peed on at a truck show. But
that wasn't her video. That's the thing.
but it was somebody else's video.
She got banned for other reasons.
Why is she so viral though? Is because everybody else is making Big Jill meme videos. That's what that guy was trying to explain. Like TikTok is now just flooded with people making Big Jill commentary videos.
But they don't know what they're talking about because he can't even find the actual video of her getting peed on. It's been taken down.
Right.
I looked.
But this is what I was waiting for this moment. Producer Eric, have you uncovered the original video? Let us know in the private chat because
the P video.
Yeah, because everybody's searching.
Yeah.
He's looking right now. Good luck, Eric.
There's got to be.
I'm just as good at the internet as you, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it was impossible to find.
Will there be a Big Jill challenge on TikTok now?
No, but my point is,
no, they're just making fun of Big Jill
even on TikTok.
I know
there's so many people being like reaction videos to Big Jill, but the only video that you can find, the video they're reacting to, is the pee doesn't happen.
Chick. Yeah, right.
Right. No, it's a meme. It's just a meme.
It's kind of sad. It's just a chunky girl from North Carolina being surrounded by a bunch of dudes who are like Jill, and she doesn't want to get peed on, but then she clearly does because she succumbs to peer pressure.
Pat, did you check out her profile?
The one video where she's kind of scantily clad and calls herself a truck sloot. Did you see the other one where she's giving a mouth-to-mouth shot to a girl and she's at a party where everybody has drawn on her skin in Sharpie
and that's when
we've all known a Big Jill or two.
Yeah, I mean, Big Jill likes to have fun at the truck show, and I think that's what a lot of the commentary is about. And Big Jill saying it's fuck you haters, it doesn't bother me. But
I couldn't even find a Big Jill reaction video.
If all of TikTok is talking about you,
all right. Well,
it's probably got to be a little annoying.
Real quick, Boy Scouts of America are changing their name to a more inclusive name, and the Washington Redskins is the new name.
Yeah. Well, it's ironic, Pat, because just like they're changing it to get away, from the obvious rape trials that they're going through. The Redskins changed their name to the Commanders to distract from a federal sexual harassment inquiry. So it's come full circle.
Well, there's going to be one of those if the police in North Carolina are doing their job as it relates to Big Jill, because she did not want to be involved in whatever it was.
Okay. Well, Big Jill.
Porn sites for Big Jill P video.
Guys,
yeah, probably was. Big Jill, you need to inform the authorities if that was against your will, because as of now, TikTok and the authorities. Yeah, no, she doesn't. It's part of Big Jill's lifestyle. So, yeah. Thanks to Colin Phillips. Obviously, he was all over Big Jill from the start. Over it,
have Colin try to explain it, because he probably do just about as good a job as Arab World News did.
Yeah, but he loves the memes. Over at Boeing, the FAA has finally brought public that the 787 Dreamliner quality inspections that Boeing turned into the FAA for certification and approvals for the area where the wings meet the fuselage, the body, Wes talked about this before, the plane, were straight up fake. As in, just like the whistleblowers claimed, there were no inspections at all prior to planes being sold for commercial use.
Jeez.
Yeah. On the 787 Dreamliner and probably others,
Man, really?
Yeah. Pat, it probably explains why windows and doors close to the wings on Boeing planes have just been popping out in midair all year long.
I got to admit, I'm kind of shocked that the inspections didn't take place. Like, I'm not putting it past Boeing to cheap out on parts and shit, but I really, it's hard to wrap my head around the fact that I've been on a Dreamliner and thought
zero
to myself,
quality inspections, Pat.
Okay.
Here's the really great news. They estimate
they quality inspect bags of peanuts in the United States. Like, what the fuck?
Well, not wings connected to fuselages at the Spirit equipment place of Boeing. That's what they self-reported this in April. The FAA just made it public on Monday of this week. They estimate that 450 Dreamliner 787s are impacted by the zero quality checks on their wings being attached to their body. And only 60 of those are still at the factory. So the other 390 potentially faulty Dreamliner 787s are just out there cruising the skies, inspection free right now.
That's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
I thought that was like number one thing of aviation.
You would think.
Sorry, the planes are down because we got to do inspection.
Well, the pilot is supposed to do a walk around, but you think they do it at the factory before the pilot even touches the plane.
You would think, Wes, that's what they're supposed to do to get approval to sell it from the FAA, but they faked the reports. So all of a sudden, as of this turn of events late Monday, now the Boeing spokespeople are praising the whistleblowers for reporting all this stuff that Boeing ignored when they reported it at work. And hopefully that means that Boeing has conceded the case and the remaining 10 whistleblowers are safe now, hopefully. But now Boeing's DEI program will be in the crosshairs as the CEO has already stepped down, scheduled for the end of 2024. And Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is still pressuring to find out how that program affected factory quality protocols. And with this on the heels of the historic 737 MAX.
Wait. Why do we care what Ken Paxton cares about a DEI program? That's like,
it's just
two
opposite
magnets.
No, they're being investigated by everybody. Texas, okay. FAA, the list goes on. Boeing is in trouble. And so this is all coming on the heels of the historic 737 MAX grounding, and that model is still blowing out door plugs left and right in 2024. So ipso facto, Boeing stock is back where it should be, in the gutter, down 5% on the month after it weirdly rallied on a second whistleblower's death for the last week or so.
So are they taking any steps to maybe identify the planes and ground them that haven't been inspected?
No, they're not grounding anything, Wes, but they're gonna say we're gonna check them out if we feel like it's necessary.
If
you have to
think
break up
that's
Boeing.
okay.
You have to. This issue all stems back from the fact that government-funded contracts have created a very powerful company who's leading the aerospace industry, and no one else can compete other than Airbus, and they don't have to. They don't have to work.
They're governing
So,
themselves. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of them owning everything and getting contracts they shouldn't, the Boeing launched the ISS was scrubbed on Monday night as well. So SpaceX ships can get them up there. Russian ships can get them up there. Boeing had to scrub their launch. Anyways, it's not all bad news out there. A new study of scriptural text reveals that Jesus and his disciples probably used cannabis as part of their healing rituals, according to The Guardian. And this, Pat, was originally published in a study in High Times.
Ooh, yeah.
Both the anointing oils and the incense used by Jesus and his crew contain cannabis, KANEH-BOSEM. We've talked about this on the show before, which we now know was a cannabis extract used throughout the ancient religions, particularly in Judaism, by preachers. Well, I guess it's called rabbis there, and representatives of all kinds of other ancient churches as well. Zoroastrianism, all kinds of stuff. I think even Hinduism.
Dude, why you think the best rolling paper other than rolling paper is the back page of a Bible, dog? You ever thought about that?
Oh, good point. Yeah, keeping it true to form. So yeah, pretty much cannabis is documented as used in religions as far back as information is recorded. So, maybe legalize it. Think this will get the Christians on board, or do you think it'll upset them? That's
well, Joey Biden's finally, because he needs to win some young voters, is moving.
I mean, Schedule 3, but that's not.
It's a step. It's something.
Yeah. It's something. It's still a crime to possess it in a legal state. Yeah. Chris Slade sends it with
they're not going to believe
comment. Yeah, I won't believe it. Talk about the
weed
bush.
Yeah,
The
No, the Bible is for you to interpret exactly how you want it to be.
I'm saying the staunch, Bible thumpers won't believe that Jesus was smoking weed.
Of course.
Maybe there was some cannabis on this bullet. Check it out.
You were so lucky that there was a malfunction, but it wasn't luck, was it?
No, not at all. It was definitely a blessing. A lot of times we preach about God's divine protection, and we have a chance to witness ministering angels being about you.
Yeah, the real hero is the guy tackling him.
Right. Well, also the gun jamming, because maybe, I don't know, divine intervention.
I heard that this morning. That guy actually killed his uncle before he was about to shoot the pastor.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. And Wes, perhaps he accidentally got some cannabis oils on that top bullet, and maybe that was the divine intervention. Who knows?
Pastor said he forgave him as he pinned him down. Said, "I forgive you, and if you need to talk to me, I'm here for you, my son."
Well, that's very Christianly of him.
Yeah.
So that's a nice story. Everybody's alive. That one guy's in jail, but he should be, because for the attempted murder inside a church and all. But it's a great day. Another great day in the USA, in the Hardo Hive. Pat, you got something?
Is that the best disarming tactic? I mean, obviously we know it's a tenet of Christianity, but is that the best disarming tactic ever? Because if you're a pastor, you got forgiveness at the top of your mind. It totally would have made sense a week later, a day later, an hour later. But to pull that out during a struggle to neutralize,
it's powerful. It's powerful.
Yeah, fucking smart.
He was also
in front of you, while you're being stabbed. Yeah,
I forgive you.
Yeah. That's a powerful move.
Why are you forgiving me? Getting forgiven makes me angry.
It would have been funny if he's like, "You dumb motherfucker! You dumb motherfucker coming in here with that."
Oh, Wes, he used the Jesus move. He used the Jesus move. What you really should do now that we know that Jesus was using cannabis, you should forgive him while you're getting stabbed and offer him a joint. That'll really diffuse everything.
Yeah.
So the church has some rethinking to do with this news. So that's it for the show. Thank you for listening. Go to patreon.com/Hard Factor if you need more Hard Factor. But most importantly, get out there and have yourselves a great fucking day.